We all know a lot of people have lathes that turn very, very fast, but they don't turn very slow. If you want to paint resin on the outside of one of your workpieces and you can only go 500 feet a minute like me, you're kind of stuck. So I came up with this way of running from the tailstock very slow. So let's go over some of the things you'll need to turn your lathe at 20, maybe 30 RPMs. I'll put links down below for all the items that you're going to need to do this. And I did it for under $100. First thing you're going to need is a live tailstock chuck adapter. Mine happened to be 1" by 8 TPI thread and a number 2 Morse taper mount. Then you'll need a 12-volt power supply. A lot of you might have one of these around the house sitting there, and put it to use if you have. It's best to have alligator clips. Makes the job a lot easier. Next we have the motor mount, the fixed pulley, and something to attach it to that's going to fit in where your tool rest normally goes. In my case it was 1", so it wasn't hard. I just put a piece of wood on the lathe and turned it down to 1" and left a little platform on the top. Of course you need a belt to turn the chuck. A bracket to hold the motor in place. When it comes to the urethane belt, this is how I made it. Put a knife in your vise, heat the knife up till it gets real hot, then slap both sides of the urethane, one on each side of the knife, until they melt. It's going to form a nice donut shape when you put them together. You'll be trimming that off later. But do hold those together for 20-30 seconds until they cool. I just used diagonal cutters to trim the donut off. One thing worth mentioning is my chuck requires an adapter to achieve 1" by 8 TPI, and the green belt rides between the black part of the live tailstock and the chuck insert. With that in mind, I don't know if this will work if your chuck doesn't require an adapter. You need to figure that out. The weak link here will not be the motor. There's plenty of torque. Belt traction is key, and you may find tape used under the belt helps out a lot. And here's the final product. Notice how I have the banjo reversed on the lathe with the handle of the banjo in the back. You probably could do it in the front too, I don't know. You can also reverse rotation by swapping the negative and the positive leads. So that's it. Thumbs up appreciated. Comments even more appreciated.